Okay, we are live. Stream Live Tampa episode 7. My name is Jim Delaney. We're live on Facebook, our YouTube channel, Stream Live Tampa, so please subscribe to that if you're watching. And also on Twitter and Twitch. Before we get to our guest for this week, a couple things. I was not here the last couple episodes that we had. Andrew Burdick, my partner, did a great job hosting. So want to make sure apologize to Brooks DeBartolo, girls basketball coach, Ellie Wilbur, the guest last week for missing. I apologize for that. And then 2 weeks ago, good friend of the Stream Live Tampa crew, Leonard High School baseball coach, Kennedy Duran, who's now becoming the new head coach at Sumner High School. And I do want to make sure I acknowledge a couple things. During that show, I know he mentioned a very special fan, their 10th man at Leonard High School baseball when Kennedy was there. That's my father, Dave. I do want to make sure on this format, because I was going to do so that night, but I had some technical difficulties, how much I appreciate Kennedy and the rest of the Leonard High School athletic department, teachers, and staff, but especially Kennedy, how supportive he's been for my father and our family. Unfortunately, we lost my mother back in January. He's been fantastic, as is Javier and Andrew and everything. But I wanted to make sure I acknowledge Kennedy tonight on tonight's show on how much we appreciate him. So tonight's show, episode 7, I guess it's kind of stuck, the SLT show, because we haven't really had an official name for it. So the SLT show here at Stream Live Tampa. Tonight's guest is Lesley Ginder. Lesley is a part of the new Florida Gulf Coast League Collegiate Summer Softball League that's happening this year. First of its kind, I believe. And it's been way too long, if you ask myself, and I know Lesley agrees wholeheartedly. It's something that's going to be in the greater Tampa Bay area, down in Bradenton at Lakewood Ranch. And you can see the logo up there, the different teams that are going to be down here later this summer, as it seems like we are approaching fields opening back up in this odd time this year in 2020 that it's been for all of us. But Lesley, I appreciate you coming on tonight. And I guess just tell us how the league got started, how you got involved in it, and then we can just kind of go from there.
Well, sure. The Florida Gulf Coast League had its first season last year strictly as a collegiate baseball league. I was kind of on my own looking into the whole concept of why can't we do this with softball? And I made some connections in the Clearwater area, and I was directed to Ryan Moore, who's the executive director of the Florida Gulf Coast League. And we just kind of joined forces and wanted to see where we could go with this, because really the time is right. All you have to do in the winter is go out to Clearwater, the collegiate tournaments. I mean, spectacular athleticism with the players, the fans. It's just the time is right to try to move this forward and get this available and equal opportunity for female athletes. Correct.
Yeah. And so this is the first year for the softball league, correct? Mm-hmm. And the second year for the baseball league. I know our audience can see the team logos up there. So there's 7 teams. Is that correct?
Yes.
That are going to be playing. When does it start?
Our girls will report, or young women will report, on June 14th for orientation. Okay. They'll have a 3-day mini camp, which is something that we came up with a little later in the game. But with the cancellation of the seasons, we thought the girls needed some time to really acclimate back to playing, to their new teammates. So they'll have 3 days of that with the opening day on June 18th.
Yeah, great. Yeah, you had touched on it with college sports and a lot of sports in general being canceled. Mm-hmm. You said the time is right, and you said that probably before all of this happened, because it is the right time to do it, just with what softball's done over the duration of time with college softball. But these girls, young women, have to be itching to play and get back out there, and it's going to be the only thing out there right now as far as softball for the collegiate level.
It really is. And, I'm really excited too, because if you look at the kids that we have coming in, they represent 16 different Division I conferences. I think it's 4 Division II, Division III, NAI, JUCO. this is a high level of competition, and I don't care what level you play at. You're coming in, you're competitive, you're ready to go.
That's right. Yeah, and I'm glad you touched on all five. From NAIA to JUCO D3-2 up to 1. So I've seen, and I've been trying to share, at least on our Facebook pages, all the player announcements, the rosters that have been unveiled, and the coaching announcements, and who's going to be coaching and stuff like that. As far as the teams and the coaches, who's going to be coaching, and how did you find those coaches?
Well, that was up to the individual owners on trying to find the coaches that they wanted to work with. And we were lucky enough. We've had some local high school coaches who have volunteered to come in as assistant coaches for the summer, which is going to be a great local story to add in with our coaches that are coming in from different places in the country. Good.
Yeah. As far as you had mentioned the mini camp and working out and things like that, they all have access to workout facility to train, and because let's face it, their bodies are used to have been playing February to May, and now it's really not like that. So they're going to have to kind of have a ramp up period themselves to get ready, and then during the season, is that something that's going to be available to them?
Yes, every team has a relationship with some of the indoor facilities in that area. I know that some of the teams will be working at Squared Up Academy, which is in Bradenton, and we had kids working out at the Florida International Training Center in Sarasota. So they'll have availability to that daily.
Good.
But one thing I want to throw out about what I see and some of the kids coming in is they haven't stopped working on their own. So I think it's just getting back, whether it's on a real field again or being able to get some reps that aren't off a tee. They're working.
Correct.
So I think it's just, so I think they're going to come in raring to go, and it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, student athletes at that level, just college in general, doesn't matter what division level, their dedication, they've already hit that point at some point, probably in their high school career, where, okay, this is what I have to do in the off season, so to speak, and this is just a different time of year. But yeah, I'm sure you're 100% correct on that. How many games will each team play?
We have a 25 game guarantee for the teams. That's 24 regular season games, and then they are all guaranteed a playoff game, but it's one and done at that point. So depending on how the brackets line up and where you fall, depends on how many more extra games you get. Sure.
And there's going to be an all-star game as well?
There is an all-star game. Yes, that'll be, I believe it's June 18th. Confirming location on that because things have been a little different as we've been doing our planning. But yes, we will have an all-star game.
Okay. And you've been working with Manatee County as far as their recreation department and the fields and anything like that. Are there any kind of guidelines that you're getting hints on what you're going to have to follow?
Well, our executive director, Ryan, has been working with them pretty closely. We're really waiting on exact kind of what we need to do to keep our athletes safe, to keep any fans safe if they're able to come. We're really waiting on guidance because we want to make sure we do it right. Correct.
Yeah. With things opening back up, like I said, slowly and, state by state and county by county down here, you just have to kind of wait and follow their lead. But it sounds like everything's a go because your schedule, I've seen the schedule. And I'll touch on it briefly. Stream Live Tampa will be at some games. It's something that Lesley and I have discussed, and we'll let everybody know who's watching tonight and in the future what games we'll be at, how you'll be able to watch them, things of that nature. But it's definitely something. I know when we had spoken the other day, it sounds like a lot of fun because I know we're kind of itching to get back near the ball field too. It was fun in the high school seasons. Going week to week, and all of a sudden, just it's like everybody's lives kind of got turned upside down and had to stop and do the right thing and kind of figure it out from there. So, but we'll let everybody know how that's going to work. So you guys will, and I think you said July 18th or June 18th for the All-Star game. It's probably July 18th.
July, sorry.
Is it July?
Sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
June. I think it's that weekend. I don't have the schedule right in front of me. I believe it's that because I believe our playoffs start on the 19th. So 19th, 20th, 21st.
And then you'll have a championship game and all that. Opening day. Is there anything kind of, I know you guys are probably planning every second of the day. But
we're really trying to.
For opening day? I know.
Well, right now, we're looking at different options. We have a lot of amazing softball players, retired softball players in our area. And we hope to be able to get possibly one or others to come in ceremonial first pitch because, with our league, we really see it as we're growing the game. We're growing the, softball for athletes to come. We don't want this to be a one and done year. We want this to grow and to continue and really be a great outlet for these athletes to be able to come and train and get better at their game.
Absolutely. Yeah, you said it right there. Get better. It doesn't matter what level they are. They always are should be developing and getting better. And, these athletes are definitely itching to do that as well. And they'll play for different coaches and get different coaching styles and the experience alone. But, not having something like this for college softball, like I touched on earlier, is sorely needed. And baseball's had quite a bit in the famous Cape Cod League up in the Northeast. And this is something that could become that Cape Cod League version for softball, but just be down here in the Florida Gulf Coast League down in this area. And like you said, a lot of retired college softball players, all ages, in this area. And it's a growing game. You can tell every year during the Women's College World Series. They used to just show the championship game, then they just used to show the World Series, then they just showed the Supers, and they've been showing every regional game on I say they as an ESPN and the network and everything like that. So you can tell it's been growing. Yeah.
Well, I've had it on, and I was sitting there watching with my daughter today, and she's like, she goes, I love watching it. She goes, but I've seen this one once, so I know how it's going to end. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But it's fun to watch. And, that's the one thing that I think that a lot of people are really craving is just being able to watch some live sports.
No, absolutely. And I'm sure the league will grow and have more teams because you'll have more interest of people coming down here and things like that. As far as like you were talking about high school coaches being involved in that, and we won't have to talk about specific names or anything,
right?
But touch a little bit on like the recruiting aspect of it, because there's going to be college coaches in the area and stuff. And I know you guys all talk with the NCAA and all that to get signed off on what they can do. Because I mean, everything is, this is not anything under the radar. So were there any initial concerns with that? Having access to high school coaches and things of that nature, or no?
No, there's really no issue having them involved at all. There's nothing that's reflective that we've seen in the rules, for the NCAA rules. Our biggest thing is, we follow the same guidelines that they have set up for baseball. And we're sticklers because we want to do it right.
Absolutely.
So that's our big thing. And, there's certain rules like, a college coach can't coach their kid in the summer. And, there's things like that. So, but there really isn't, we haven't had any trouble trying to set that up.
No. And like you have said, when we talked the other day, you got the blessing of the governing body for college sports, and I'm sure NAIA as well. So, which is good. Now you had said NAIA, which is, for our audience, they don't know, it's a different governing body than the National Collegiate Athletic Association. You always hear, well, they're smaller schools, and yes, they probably are student body and stuff, but you've got some pretty talented players coming from the NAIA division, which will set up some interesting conversations in a good way of facing D1 players and stuff, and show how it really doesn't have to be too much different talent-wise, maybe just from top to bottom on the roster. So How many do you have coming from the NAIA division?
I don't remember the exact number. I mean, it's not a huge number, but we definitely have some that are from really, really strong programs. And I have no doubt that they're going to come in and compete.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's going to be the beauty of this, because, you know, you hear so much about divisions, and, you know, there's some, you know, preconceived notions of how this player may be versus this player. But I think we get them all together, and they're playing for some of these amazing coaches, and, you know, they become a cohesive team. They're going to be a team. It doesn't matter where they come from. It doesn't matter where they're going back to. It matters what they do here and what it does for their game. Correct.
No, absolutely. Yeah. The ones that are playing in this league this summer, and the ones that are going to play in the future, it's good to get kids from different division levels, different levels of competition. You said it right off the bat. They're all going to compete. It's just who they are as student athletes. I mean, they've been playing for quite a while, and then at different high levels for quite a while. So those will be fun conversations to see in games when an NAIA pitcher is facing somebody from a Division I school, and maybe vice versa, and things like that. But they're all probably very ready. What about where do they stay? You don't have to say specifically, but I mean, like housing and stuff.
What they had arranged for athletes coming in are hotels that have suites. So they're very comfortable. They'll be able to have a kitchen. Everyone has, you know, their own bed, all that kind of stuff. We want to keep them comfortable. We want to keep them in a safe environment. And I think that worked out for us, because, you know, I look at some of the baseball leagues that historically have used host families, and, you know, it's not really working out this year because, you know, circumstances. So I'm really glad that we have that. And I think that gives them some comfort. It gives them areas where there's other restaurants, that kind of thing. So, and not far from their training facilities.
Correct. Now, as far as practice time, they'll be able to have the teams will probably have to work schedule wise as far as practicing on fields and things of that nature. Correct.
Yeah, that'll be up to the individual teams on what they consider necessary for their training. So
let's go to the fun part, the game day.
Fun.
So game day.
We love game day.
Game days are great. Games are when it's supposed to be fun. It's Lakewood Ranch Complex. There are 4 fields, correct? You know, 7 teams. Crazy.
That's what we're hoping now. Of course, everything's not set in stone, but that is our hope right now.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. But like a game day, how do you envision a game day? Now you're going to have teams or games being played on different fields and stuff. So, you know, kind of like the tournament format, but just for that day. So what you know, as far as the planning part of it, you know, how do you see that? Will it be double headers, game break? How many games total in a game in a day will they play?
Well, what we're looking at is 3 games in the evenings. The first one starting at 5:30, and then 2 games starting at 7:30, give or take. And then we will have double headers on the weekends, on Saturdays. Because
just on Saturdays. Okay.
Yes, just on Saturdays. Yeah, there's some limitations. There's a lot of people who like to be on the field now with everything going on.
Oh, of course. No, I know the complex well, yeah.
So that's what we see. You know, as soon as the first game's over, we'll, you know, get the kids on the field, get it right warmed up and ready to go.
You know, umpires and things like that. Are they college umpires? Are they?
They're professional umpires. They are professional. So I know that we're in negotiations right now to get that taken care of.
To try to figure that part out. Yeah, of course.
Like I said, Ryan has that figured out. I know he's listening, so Ryan's got that figured out.
We'll get Ryan on a show and we'll talk about the baseball side here. We will, absolutely. But softball is exciting. It's like I said, it's a growing sport. I know it's very close to your family.
It is.
It's something that I've been involved in with many kids in the high school area. So in Hillsborough County, not Manatee County. You're in Hillsborough County, correct?
Correct.
In the southern part, okay.
Yes, outside of Tampa.
Yep. I think we're a general Brandon area, just like Stream Live Tampa was spawned in Ruskin down at Leonard High School. I'm here in Waimama at our producer's house. I'm in Valrico. Andrew's from Apollo Beach. So we've got the South Shore, East Hillsborough County connection, and then we'll be happy to go down to to Lakewood Ranch when the games start. And like I said, Stream Live Tampa will have some games, of course, once Manatee County releases when everything can be ready to go. But it sounds like everything is a go for June 18th for your league.
That's what we are absolutely counting on.
Yeah. Yeah, you sounded pretty confident when we were talking, and I tend to agree. I think you're right. I do want to take a moment right now. I want to thank some of our sponsors. Lou Llerandi from Llerandi Gloves. Talked with Lou the other day. He's based up in Atlanta, but he's a big supporter of Stream Live Tampa. Something I had told him about, the Florida Gulf Coast League coming down here, softball and baseball and stuff like that. I know he's been supportive of us, and then when we're at games, it's more to be able to see some gloves, and people want to purchase gloves, and how to do that through Llerandi Gloves. AB Sports Performance, one of our partners here with Stream Live Tampa, Andrew Burdick, his sports performance programs for the serious athletes here in the South Shore area in Apollo Beach. He's been instrumental for a lot of high school and some college athletes coming back as well. Gametime Prospects organization. We used to call it baseball, but it's now spawned off into softball. I guess I can say that's yours truly that is spearheading that. And I'm very busy with that, like Lesley is with the Florida Gulf Coast League Collegiate Summer League, but we appreciate David Sansom's support at Stream Live Tampa as well. Lesley, any parting thoughts? I don't have much action on this right here. I know all these shows do get archived and go on our YouTube channel, Stream Live Tampa, and we urge everybody, especially all of our new viewers tonight, because it sounds like from when we announced this show happening with Lesley in the Collegiate Summer League and how this is kind of helping you promote it, as you've been doing pretty well with social media. A lot of the teams were following that just initial post on Facebook and the tweet on Twitter. So everybody watching, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe. It's for free. Share with everybody. Retweet everything. Like everything. Same with on Facebook. That helps us grow. As we grow, we can cover more games. And then again, we'll let everybody know how to watch the Florida Gulf Coast League Collegiate Summer League. It sounds like a lot, but I want to make sure people understand what people understand it is, because I know there's Florida Gulf Coast League baseball, and that's kind of, you guys are the same, but Collegiate Summer League is really encompasses everything. It tells you exactly what's going to happen. So
yes. Well, I will say one little thing that I've thought about that's going to be an interesting dynamic this summer is going to be the experienced players and the signees that are coming into play. So, we have some younger players, and we've got some rock stars coming in of experienced players too. And a lot of kids that were rock stars in high school and at their travel levels. So I think that's going to be another dynamic that's going to be really interesting to watch play out.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. I saw when I was looking through the rosters being announced, you would show obviously player positions and what college they were at. And every now and then you'd see maybe one or two on teams, and not very many for obvious reasons, and it would just say signee. And I was like, oh, interesting. Good. And that's good to do that they can get the experience of playing against college level players a little bit early. How many total do you have of the signees?
It's not a huge amount. I haven't got the final two rosters. So probably right now off the top of my head, I can think right around 10 to 12 maybe.
I wasn't sure if it was in double figures or not. So
yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, I don't have the number in front of me, but I think it's a great thing for them. And I think with everything that's happened this year and a lot of issues with larger rosters next year, I think it's going to be really good for our younger ones coming in to be able to kind of get the speed of the game, to understand more about expectations at the collegiate level. I think it's going to be really interesting. And I think that they'll have some of these older girls are going to be amazing mentors.
Oh, absolutely. Again, what you just said is everything under the word development. They just continue to develop different ways, whether a lot of people think a stud 12-year-old is polished. Well, no, they might not be when they're 15, or a 15-year-old might not be when they're 18.
Right.
Same when you come out of high school, you could be, playing on all these XYZ teams that play all over the place, but you might not be that way when you're 21. So it's continued development. So it's just another opportunity for kids like that, plus the ones in college that are able to enhance their skills. And again, especially this year, it's just been so odd for everybody. But I see that we're getting close. We see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We do.
So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Yeah, it's going to be fun this summer. So I think we've got a couple comments.
Okay.
No. The team names. How did they get named? I know it said it spawned from the baseball side, and then they just went this way. But I mean, they're fun names. Some of them are really great. The logos are fantastic.
They're fun, and I think that's the thing with summer league. It should be fun. It should be a fun fan experience, a fun playing experience, and I think that all adds to the interest. And I'll do a little plug. There is a team store on our website where you can go and pick the merchandise that you like best. Whichever team you want to sit there and support, you can get team merchandise. But that's another thing. It came down from the owners. And every one of them had a story behind why they chose it. Sure. But it's just kind of evolved. So it'll be interesting to see, as we expand, how our names and our logos and everything will grow.
Yeah, there looks like there were a lot of thought put back. I'm looking at the screen with all of them, and I'm sure you guys can see it at home, wherever you're watching. But yeah, with the Manatee Squeeze, Bradenton Slice, the Mayaca Beach River Moccasins. I was saying I'm not a big fan of snakes, but that logo is pretty cool.
That one is super cool.
Yes, it is. The odd thing about that is it's way too true, because there's plenty of those critters down here. So Impact Softball, we had mentioned Bradenton Slice. The Lynx, is there something in front of the Lynx?
They're out of Bradenton. They are part of the 5-star program. If you're aware of that. So there is the baseball team that they have too, the Mafia. So yeah, good. So it's part of that. I think there's a history behind that name with them and softball.
I love it. And then you Fast Pitch. We talked about Impact earlier, and then the Pioneers.
Yes.
I know one of those is linked to the academy down there.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
That is correct. The Pioneers are part of Square Up Academy.
Yep.
And we do have several of the teams that'll be working out there.
I love it. No, of course. Everybody's down there for the same reason, like you said, to have fun this summer. And they might be a little extra competitive just because they haven't been able to do so.
I think it could be really, I think it's going to be super competitive. I think that, as much as we're dying to watch, they're dying to play. So it's going to be, and they're coming here to play. They're not coming here, they're coming here to work. And I just can't wait. I think, I look at the names and I look at some of the athletes coming in, and wow, their bios, what they've done already. And I'm thinking, these are kids that are they're just dynamic players. I just can't wait to watch.
They are. Yeah, I've been excited to see the schools that have been represented across the division levels.
Yes.
And stuff like that. And you can see these rosters on your website. Are they loaded on the website?
I don't think the rosters are on there, but we do have those on all of our social media outlets.
Okay.
All those can be found on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow us on all of those. I can get you the links if you want to share those. Sure. That might be helpful, but would love to have more follows, because we're going to have more and more news that's coming out. I spend most of my day with there's something new, every hour. So we're like, getting ready to go. We got these kids coming in and finding more that would love to come and participate, and we want to give as many kids as we can a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great comment. I'm glad you said that. There are a couple online media outlets I've seen do like roster unveilings, and then sharing those and doing articles on that. I think Extra Innings Softball was one. And then Will Turner, Turner Productions. I'd seen him. He started doing he's missing going to all the high school games. I know he does a great job covering high school softball.
He does, absolutely.
In all the surrounding counties. So he's going to scratch that itch a little bit with this league down here. So all of us will. And
Justin's World of Softball has been really good to us too.
Correct. Yeah. Good. And like I said, Stream Live Tampa will be showing some games once we follow county procedures and things like that, and follow Lesley. Will be in touch and follow your guidelines and everything that we have to follow, and how everybody not only locally can watch, but these kids are coming from around the country, various places. There were a couple that reached out to our Facebook page wondering how to watch and how it's going to work, and I said we'll get all that to you, so everybody watching, we will get that information out and how to watch these games. And then Lesley, like I said the other day, first games that were down there, you're more welcome to sit for an inning or two, and we can talk about the game, talk about what's going on in those innings, but really just to kind of help with the inaugural season. We're excited to not only be a part of that, but that you came on the show. And I know you've got quite a few mutual friends in the softball world that we discussed, and that kind of helped. That kind of helped quite a bit. So I see a long-term partnership with your league and Stream Live Tampa. So any parting shots before we sign off tonight, Lesley?
Well, really appreciate you having me on and be able to talk about the league and the partnership that we're building. And our goal is to have every game in some shape, form, or fashion streamed, because we want everybody to be able to watch.
Yeah, our goal, like I said, I'm glad you said that. I'll touch on it. Is we want to make sure we show at least one game for each of the teams that are involved. And if we do that over a period of time, we'll do that as well. And also any sponsors out there that want to advertise with us, great opportunity this summer. If you want to do that, you can always reach out to me. See my number on there, and you can also email us at streamlivetampa@mail.com. We're happy to talk to any sponsors, future sponsors that are interested. And then our last thing, we'll let everybody know how to watch the games in the future. And Lesley, I appreciate you very much coming on tonight.
You.
And everything was good. And everybody watching, this will always be on our YouTube channel, Stream Live Tampa, our Facebook page, Stream Live Tampa, and on our Twitter page @Stream Live Tampa. And you'll continue to see a lot of stuff being retweeted and shared by us with your league and stuff, because we're really excited to have this in the area. So
thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. You have yourself a wonderful night, and everybody, thank you for watching Stream Live Tampa, the SLT Show, episode 7.